Hey everybody, it is Harlan, and today we're going to do one of my most favorite things related to keto, and that's I just saw my dog walk by, um, and that is make bulletproof coffee. Oh yeah, bulletproof coffee. Once you get into it, it's going to be part of your day as well. So first of all, bulletproof coffee is the brainchild of Dave Asprey. He's a guy who is what's called a brain hacker, a body hacker. All he does is think about ways to improve his body's performance. And he does dozens of experiments, reads a gazillion miles of literature every single day. He is the geek's geek. So the story goes he was hiking in Nepal and was freezing cold, and they made him tea with yak butter. Yaks. Okay, well, I would say it's yucky, but yak butter. And he tasted it, and it was delicious. And he was surprised that they were putting fat in coffee, and began to research and found out that putting fat in the coffee was a good thing, not a bad thing. But because he's a geek, he researched and researched and researched, and he knew that one of the biggest problems for people, what's keeping people overweight, is not so much fat, but inflammation. And mold causes inflammation. He began to experiment and discovered that virtually all coffees, even really good brands of coffee, become moldy. And so they are promoting inflammation. Uh, True thing, they give you, I like Nespresso, and they give you little recycling bags to send the used pods back in. And you collect them, you fill up the bag, you send it to them, they pay for it, and it gets recycled, and you feel really good about yourself. So, of course, I had to do it. And after a week or so, we noticed a really weird smell in the kitchen. Well, turns out it was the Nespresso pods, and they got moldy. They got moldy. So the bottom line is that he went and researched and found what he designed as his bulletproof coffee brand does not promote mold, and therefore it is a real good choice for reducing inflammation. Plus, it tastes really good too. It's very fresh. I buy it in the whole bean form. Of course, you can get it ground, but I grind it because I'm a coffee purist. I'm a coffee geek. I grind it right before serving, and anything left over is stored in airtight jars and gets used up pretty quickly. I never go more than a few days without grinding fresh coffee if needed. So, bulletproof coffee consists of a cup of the actual bulletproof coffee. Okay. The problem is if you substitute other coffee, I don't work for bulletproof. If you substitute other coffee, you may be promoting inflammation in the body. Okay, so that's step one. Next is you use a saturated fat, and it's saturated butter or ghee. He recommends the Kerrygold brand because it's made from grass-fed cows. Now, the interesting thing is that if you look at the most popular butters in the United States, they're all genetically modified, so they get bigger yields or lower fat content or what have you. They aren't particularly good for you. So you want to look for either grass-fed butter, Amish butter, or organic butter. Okay, those are the things to look for because you may not be able to find Kerrygold where you are, or it may be insanely expensive. So either grass-fed or organic butter. And start with 1 tablespoon, and then build up to 2 tablespoons. I do 2 tablespoons in my coffee every single day. So I put the coffee into a blender. I put the butter into the blender. And then I use brain octane oil, which is a form of MCT oil. This is the best of the best. If you like, start with MCT oil and see if you notice the difference. The first day that I made bulletproof coffee, I felt that someone had like put electroshock to my brain. My thinking was clearer than I ever recall. I went, holy cow, this is amazing. And fat is what nourishes your brain. And the best fats for nourishing your brain are bulletproof. So my energy picked up. I noticed it the first day. So we start with a tablespoon of MCT oil or brain octane oil. Now you got to be careful about the brain octane oil. If you want, start with a teaspoon and work yourself up, because until your body develops gets used to it, you may get what Dave calls disaster pants. Never happened to me, but a lot of people report that it happens to them because everybody's tummy is a little bit different. Okay, so we got the 3 things. We got the coffee. We start at 1 tablespoon and move to 2 tablespoons of butter. And we start at 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon of MCT oil, and we move up to 2 a day. We put it in the blender, and we add a sweetener. Well, right now, we're going to get the whole lesson on sweeteners, because half the sweeteners that say, that are sugar-free, all have secret sugars in it. It's like enough to make a maggot gag, the way the industry sneaks sugar into everything. So I have some recommendations for you. Stevia, if you eat regular stevia, it has an aftertaste. I never particularly liked it. I'll be like, ew. And then a friend who has been doing keto for 22 years, he's an athlete, turned me on to a couple things that I want to share with you. The first, if you want plain stevia, is the Ornica brand. I will drop some links below this so that you can see it on Amazon. There's no aftertaste. This is the best tasting, but it's a powdered stevia. Lots of people, including myself, like these. This is from the Sweet Drops company. This one is vanilla cream, but there are other flavors. And this one, my personal favorite, is caramel. And I put a little bit of those in my coffee. And let me tell you, good. Okay, so why am I drinking the bulletproof coffee? The bulletproof coffee, because it's got the double fat, it fills you up. So when I have bulletproof coffee in the morning, I often don't want to eat breakfast. Like, it's okay if I do. I'm not telling you to skip breakfast. No, if you're hungry, eat. If you're not hungry, don't eat. But bulletproof coffee fills me up, and I don't want to eat. And it's this really, really great sensation, because I'm filled with energy and running full throttle to, like, I get up early, 6:30 typically every day, and I'll run to 2 o'clock and have either 1 or 2 training sessions before I ever get hungry. I lift several times a week. Typically 5 days a week I lift weights and do cardio. So that little cup of coffee, this cup of coffee, it keeps me going. So chances are it's either my electrolytes or my bulletproof coffee that you'll see me drinking throughout the day. Now, I'm going to invite you, as one of the most powerful things you can do is start making bulletproof coffee. Yes, it comes caffeinated. Yes, it comes decaffeinated. Yes, you can use your favorite tea and do the same things instead. Drink coffee, you drink tea. If you don't drink coffee and you don't drink tea, then and then drink bulletproof cocoa. Make it with cocoa. There's a recipe on the site. I'll add it to this page. So you can go ahead and do these things and get those fats into you and really enjoy that drink. Can you have more than one during a day? Yeah. So what happens when you have bulletproof? Well, basically, it's the express train to getting into ketosis. I'll say that again. It's the express train because your body takes these fats and converts them to ketones. And the most likely fats you remember are the saturated fats of grass-fed butter and MCT or brain octane oil. Want to get into ketosis fast? Follow today's lesson and do it. Tastes really good. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm getting back to my brain octane.